What's up, Fan Expo Canada? There we go. I got louder and you got louder. Are you guys having a good convention so far? We're on day 3, 4, 25. Day 25 of Fan Expo Canada. Well, we are saving some of the best panels for last. This one definitely included. Do we have like any Umbrella Academy fans in the room? And we have an awesome cosplay group right up front. All of these people look like they could murder me at any moment. Lots of murder on this show. Real quick bit of business. Has anyone not watched the first season of Umbrella Academy? You're probably in the wrong panel because we're about to spoil the stuff out of it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's bring up our special guest of honor, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Hopper and Miss Emmy Raver-Lampman. You have so many microphone choices. You just have to pick the one that speaks to you.
This speaks to me.
Tom, you've really kind of slimmed down in the shoulders a little bit.
Yes.
I expected you to be a lot.
Yes, Luther's been on the chicken and broccoli diet for...
What do you mean Luther? That's your diet.
So you guys are literally like in the middle of filming season 2 right now, like right here in Toronto.
Yeah.
So just tell us everything about it.
Yeah.
I made them promise nobody's gonna post anything on the internet.
Okay.
We'll keep it secret.
Nobody's the phone. Oh, just kidding.
Okay, I know you can't actually spoil anything, but season 2, or season 1 left on a crazy cliffhanger, right?
Just a bit.
Just a little bit. So if you had to describe in one word season 2, what would that word be?
Season 1 on steroids. Singular word.
That was one word.
Look it up.
Yeah, I'd say departure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Departure.
Departure from...
That's a thinker.
Yeah.
Departure. That's interesting because.
Or like left turn would be like 2.
All right.
2 words.
That's interesting because Steve Blackman, showrunner, teased the first episode, which is called Back Where We Started, and I think there's some time travel. So departure. That's an interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Could go anywhere.
I thought I was gonna get clarity. I'm more confused now.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to really just throw you off.
Well, let's look back at season 1. I think the burning question here is your dance choreography. Both of you, but specifically yours, to Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now. Was that choreographed? Was that all freestyle? You guys got some moves.
Yeah, we that was what was brilliant about that, because Steve Blackman, the showrunner, sort of pitched us that idea as we were coming up to shooting. And I think at the beginning, because we didn't know what the show was going to be yet, it was like, really? Is that going to be a thing that's going to work in the realms of the show? And then as we did it, and we realised what the kind of thematically what the show was becoming, we were just given free rein to dance the night away.
So those are your moves.
Oh,
the crab.
Oh, God.
That's my favorite move.
Don't encourage him, please.
I've incorporated that into my own when I go out and dance.
You got to use that bad boy. Yeah. It brings attention.
There's a good reason you don't use the crab.
The crab, yeah. That was actually, I remember seeing, there's a few of my mates from back home that all went, oh my God, he did the crab. Because I've been doing that thing. It's like, we saw this, there was this, back in the UK, you guys know rugby, right? The game rugby.
Yeah.
There was this, some big fans of rugby. There's this rugby player in this club once, that we were dancing around this club, and this girl was trying to impress him, I think. And she was doing, effectively, the crab dance with a little bit more twerking as well involved in it. But she was doing the crab in front of him. And it became my thing that whenever we goof around and we do, and I pretend to impress a girl. I'd do a crab in front of my friends would be laughing in the corner.
It's
And then
amazing you're not still single.
I know, right? She likes the crab.
She must. She has to. It's
She's a big
requirement
fan.
to be with you.
Yeah.
You do it at every wedding you attend.
She gets her own private ones, and come on up. Oh God.
Can't take
Thank God she's not here. She'd be cringing in the back. She'd have gone. She'd have walked out. Yeah.
This is off to a great start.
Yeah.
We're having fun. Talk about the process of you talked about the tone and you guys didn't quite know. I mean, the comic book establishes such a unique world, what Gerard and Gabriel did, but the show is very much its own thing as well. Did you guys read the comic book to get into it? And now that the show is kind of following its own trajectory, it kind of comes, back and forth with the comic book. Are you still reading it, or do you just try and separate yourself and do your own thing?
I think Steve kind of left it up to us to decide if we wanted to read it or not, because he said, obviously this is where the show is coming from, and this is the original vision and these characters, and it's helpful to read it, but don't hold it as gospel, because at some point we're going to have to elaborate on the storylines and kind of take our own roads and bring in new characters and and also like pull characters from different parts of the novels into like the Hazel and Cha-Cha but I think I haven't read the Hotel Oblivion ones yet. I'm kind of waiting for them to all to come in in a volume as opposed to reading them individually. But I think all of us read them because they're beautiful. The illustrations are so beautiful, and the way that they're written, it's so unique. I've never read anything like it. But then I think that was the biggest challenge, I think, in season 1. Dark Horse had been trying to make this show for 10 years, and it originally started.
It was originally a movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was originally a movie, and there's just too much content, and there's too much going on, and there's too many characters for a 90-minute, 2-hour movie. So I think then once they decided television, I think that kind of opened a whole new world of opportunities to really kind of delve into the minds of these characters and the family dynamic and the drama and who the villains were going to be and what they were fighting against, but finding the tone for the show was kind of a huge thing, which I think is also why that dance that we were just talking about works so well, because you're kind of establishing the quirkiness of the show and the fun mixed in with the drama and the violence and all of it.
The music is such a part of it. I mean, and that scene establishes, the donut shop scene, and the music plays such a perfect role.
Steve writes this, those songs are in the scripts, they're in the stage direction, so that's how early in advance Steve knows exactly what songs he wants to overscore the scenes, or what we're dancing to, or what during this fight scene, what songs, but those are planned out so far in advance. So it's really cool when we get the scripts to be okay, so in the stage direction. So then I always go to iTunes and
you put them on reading.
As I'm reading, I'm listening to the song.
It's like a killer mixtape.
It's really cool.
It's a killer mixtape. Yeah.
Well, and you guys, it's nice to know, there's 3 volumes out right now, and there's 8 planned, I believe Gerard and Gabriel said. So it's nice to know that there's that wealth to pull from eventually. How involved are they in the show? How much are you guys actually seeing Gerard and Gabriel?
Well, they're executive producers on the show, so they absolutely have an input, because it's their world that we're sort of recreating.
Right.
I think they get all the dailies, of what we're shooting each day, so they have input all the way through. So their notes are completely valid. If someone, if they feel like we missed a point about something, especially to do with character development, because they come from them. They're heavily involved.
You mentioned finding that tone, but the other thing that makes the show work is just the dynamic between all of you guys, you truly believe that you guys kind of grew up together. What do you guys do to find that brother-sister tone?
That either happens or it doesn't, right? So chemistry and whether we gel as people outside of our characters, everything is kind of down to chance, really. But I also give a lot of credit to Steve and Peter Hoare, who directed the pilot, who had a big part of the casting process of them kind of vetting us as people and whether we would get on. Like we never did a chemistry read. I chemistry read with a bunch of Allisons, and Steve just for some reason was like, they don't need to chemistry read, it'll be fine. And from like day one, we get on so well. It was weird, you know, and it happened with all of us. We all just kind of gelled as a family. It happened very quickly.
It's one thing to get on, but it's another thing to have that like brother, sister,
and we have that as people as well. We like clash, and then we like
when we're all
goof
together
around.
outside of work. I honestly think we are all heightened versions. Like our characters are all like heightened versions of the people that we kind of are naturally. And so, you know, a lot of people are like, "What's Robert like?" And I'm like,
he's pretty much like,
tone class down a little bit, and that's Robert Sheehan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
got him.
It's you know, and
apart from Aiden just is number 5.
Have you guys?
He's actually the oldest of all of us.
Have you guys checked his birth certificate? Is he actually 50 years old? Because I believe it.
His dad. It's like on set with him. It's just like dad jokes all day.
He's like the oldest soul I've ever seen.
He's like in real life. He's just like he's like so mature. He's so put together.
He's just drinking tea all the time.
Oh no, he's drinking coffee, black.
Yeah, black.
All day.
We go and do these Q&As together, and he comes dressed as a politician. And answers like one as well.
I'd vote for him. Yeah, I would. That's awesome. Let's take it out to you guys. I'm sure you have some great questions. Oh, right here. First question.
Kind of deviating, but for Emmy, you worked on Jane the Virgin, and I'm a big fan of that show, and I love Gina Rodriguez. I just wanted to know if you could talk about your experience working on the show and working with those characters, because they're so amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I was so excited.
Thank you. She just asked about my work on Jane the Virgin and working with Gina Rodriguez. First of all, Gina Rodriguez, I can't say enough about her. She is an unbelievable human being and a woman and an artist, and it was just so amazing to work with. And I was only on set for one day, and it was really, really quick, but we just hit it off completely, and she's that whole team, but I did episodes 16, 17 of the last season, so I came in right at the end, so it was a really well-oiled machine, and sometimes coming into a show that's existed for a really long time, it's hard to be like a new person, but everyone was so friendly and just encouraged me to play and have fun, and I just can't speak enough about that show and its creators and Gina. Yeah. Thank you. Of course.
Thanks. Right here. Yeah, you. This is your big moment.
If you guys could play any other character except the ones you play now, which ones would you play?
In the show?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh.
I think I want to play the handler. Yeah, I really want to be a villain. So, and she's amazing wigs and costumes. So I'm here for that.
Mom.
Grace? Of course.
I really like her dresses. They're great.
Yes.
Yeah, right here.
I liked Black Sails. Was the conditions when you were working at Black Sails like it was in the show? Some conditions are really, really serious.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it. Yeah, for sure. Because the thing is with Black Sails is like we had to create that pirate world, which was, in reality was brutal. And the conditions at times were terrible, yeah. I mean, we when we did the storm sequence, it was like going through a storm. They flew in jet engines from the UK, actually, and then they would put these fire hydrant jets into the jet engines, and you just get blasted by them. So we're coming off with like bits of jet fuel on our faces. I looked like I'd aged like 20 years by the end of that show. But some good cream has brought me back a bit.
Moisturize, people moisturize.
Yeah, moisturise, always moisturise. But yeah, it was pretty tough, but I loved it. I mean, it's what I live for.
He
Stuff.
took the words out of my mouth. He lives for it.
We'll go right here. Yeah.
I have 2 questions. First one's for number 3. Are they going to fix your vocal cords in the next season?
I hope so. I wouldn't mind talking again. I can't give that away. I'll ruin it for everybody. Including me.
What was it like working with Ellen Page?
Oh, are you kidding?
Oh, she's
Ellen's
the
the
best.
best. She's I can't speak enough about her. We've actually become really, really close in life. Like I actually consider her a sister and a really good friend, and she's just the most like generous and giving.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Like,
And so
partner.
talented.
Yeah,
Ridiculous,
she really
yeah.
wants it to be a really like peaceful and enjoyable give and take in when it's just two actors in the scene, but when it's everybody, I mean, we all just get along so well. But she's, I wondered the same thing because it's Ellen Page, and I've never been on TV before, and then I suddenly found myself ready to be her sister, and I was really intimidated by that scenario. But she's just the most giving and loving and just patient person of all time.
Yeah.
I really, really adore her.
And an amazing like humanitarian as well.
Oh, God,
She's
yeah.
just incredible. The stuff she does, she's so brave.
Yeah.
So incredibly
She's
brave.
got a documentary that just got into TIFF.
Yeah.
And if you guys can go see it, it's going to be unreal. It's about Nova Scotia and Halifax and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Go check it out.
Also, I heard that you don't like vegan food.
Then I don't like vegan food. I love vegan food.
Oh no, vegan food's great.
Vegan
Well, the
food.
right vegan.
She just called you out.
I know. I'm like, who's spreading rumors that I don't like vegetables? That's a bad rumor.
Yeah.
Other thing about Ellen Page has legitimate dance moves. Her dance moves
Yeah,
are
yeah.
Yeah.
like, if we had to rank out of all the siblings, best
She was
dance
so
moves.
nervous about that too because she was like, I don't think Vanya dances, and everyone kept being like, I think you can find it. It has to be like.
It's in there
quirky."
somewhere.
Yeah,
And then I think she really, yeah.
Yeah,
She's
let
playing
loose.
She's playing shy.
yeah. Oh my gosh, so many hands at once. All the way in the back. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Were you guys emo kids? I think we're all around the same age.
I went through a stage of when I was younger of being a little bit of an emo kid.
Yeah.
But I always loved My Chemical Romance. Like, it's still on some of my playlists for the gym now.
Yeah.
It comes on. And,
I was taking a spin class the other day, and Black Parade came on, and I started
such a
laughing
good
so
tune.
hard, and the instructor was like, "What is wrong with this girl?"
And it's,
I was so entertained by that. Oh, someone's at my front door. Sorry.
show them all these people. Can you see them?
Could you imagine?
Yeah. Oh, hey, there he is.
I suppose.
you just gotta pack it.
You just got.
His new stuff's great too. He's got a song in the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, his vocal ability is insane. It's like almost unmatchable. But also like couple that with his like personality in real life. He's just like so soft spoken and so sweet, and then he's just got this monstrous voice. It's like the duality of that is
Yeah.
so,
It's bizarre, yeah.
But he's so brilliant and so talented.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go back there because I love that kid just jumped up and asked this question. But yeah, right there.
It was kind of hinted at in the first episode. We got a little taste of the kind of comic special effects with Ben. Is there any chance we're going to get a little more of that in season 2, a bit more of the whimsicality?
Ben's for sure in season 2. That's all I can say. He's for sure
there.
here. What
There
you got?
are characters in season 2. That's what we can say.
Well, you never know. You never know.
All the way in the back. Yeah. Hi. All the way. Yeah, you.
In the green?
Yeah, you. Ooh, good question.
I would. It's not on anymore, but I would have loved to have been in Entourage. I was just an Entourage fan. Yeah.
You're such a dude.
Well, you get to shoot in LA is fun, you know. Be a douche, you know.
Oh man. I'm obsessed with Killing Eve.
Yeah.
Sandra, just to work with Sandra Oh would be amazing. But I really love. I think being on Glow would be really fun.
Oh man, you got the perfect hair
Like
for
the
Glow.
outfits,
Yeah, you got
the
it.
wrestling, the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, the fanny packs. It's so good.
Glue's a good one. I should have
Well,
done
that's really good.
Season just came out.
That's really good.
I'm
So good.
saving
I'm watching it right now. I think that's why it's on my mind.
I feel like you could probably talk to somebody at Netflix and get yourself
we have the
like,
same. Our PR woman for Umbrella is the same as Glow.
Yeah,
there you go.
You trying to give me one of those fanny packs, bro?
You'd be great going in. You imagine what you could do with your hair and stuff. going
Yeah.
in those. That'd be
You have the
awesome.
perfect hair for Glow.
I'm gonna make some
Yeah.
phone. We'll just use it.
Make a call.
Yeah.
Just write that down.
All right, we'll go back. We'll go back and forth. We'll go over here. Yeah, right here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So after I watched your show, I put the soundtrack on Spotify for Merlin on repeat, and like you said, they really chose the
Yeah.
so well. So I want to know, probably other than acting for now, what's your favorite track from this piece?
Oh, go ahead.
Mine would be Run Boy Run.
So good.
Yeah, such a good tune. There's a couple though. Yeah, there's another one.
It's like, what is the one at the end? What is it, the end of episode 8? No, end of episode 7.
And a 7,
When
which
Vanya,
is...
like, the guys are attacking her in Peabody. And
Exit
like,
music for a film.
The Radiohead song?
yes, the Radiohead
Yeah, the
song.
Radiohead
Yes.
song.
Yeah.
That montage coupled with that song. Thank you. I was like, I don't know. I wanted to just keep saying that.
Although also I love, I really like Gerard's version of Hazy
Yeah.
Shade of Winter
really
as
good.
well. It's
Yeah.
such a good tune.
A lot of the songs, I didn't even realize that Tiffany's song was a cover. It's a cover of a 60s song. So a lot of the
Yeah.
songs are these really cool
Yeah.
covers. Even
Yeah,
though that was
yeah.
an 80s song, it was still a cover of a 60s song.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll go back over here. Hi, purple hair, right there.
Hi.
Hi.
What scene would you say surprised you the most when you were reading the script?
Oh, our dance scene, as in like the one our partner dance. I was not. Say again.
That surprised you?
Yeah, as in like when I signed up for the show, I didn't think I'd have to do that. It was the most nervous I've ever been shooting anything ever.
You nailed it.
No, it's-
you did. I'm so
Listen,
proud
I
of you.
wield swords around most of the time, and then they go, "You're gonna dance."
Yes.
I had a very good teacher.
No, please, no.
She
Emma
was great.
Portner, who is Ellen's wife, she actually choreographed that dance specifically for us. So we got to spend like a week in the studio with Emma.
Who's like a world-class choreographer, like
She's
she's
unreal.
insane.
And also like knew our strengths and our weaknesses and knew that like this was so foreign for Tom.
Tom's a bumbling idiot. Let's do him with that.
She was like, but you kick, like you do like martial arts. So we're like, we'll add some kicks in there. And I was like, yes, with the kicks.
I enjoyed that, yeah.
But no, he smashed that out of the park. I was so proud of him. So proud of you.
Thank you.
I
Cheers,
know,
then.
I'm so proud. Surprise me. I
Yeah,
think
surprise you.
I think for me it was the neck cutting scene because I knew because of the comics, but then I forgot. But then I also think like Steve, our showrunner, came up to me like a month before and was like, "So we're writing episode 8, and like something crazy is gonna happen at the end of the show, but like I just want you to know that we're not killing you off the show." And I was like, "What do you mean?"
We're
And he was
almost
like,
killing
you are
you.
coming back after this. I just want you to know when you read it, you're not dead. I was like, okay, great. I just really was working in like my work.
It
But-
did read like you were dead, though.
Right, I know.
It did read like you were dead.
I know.
yeah.
Well, actually,
We didn't get episode 9 for another like 3 weeks, so it would have. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can imagine that would have been. Huh?
rough.
Yeah.
I thought I was here for 10 episodes.
I imagine it's kind of hard reading the comics being like, oh God, I really hope they do this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think the one thing that I think would have been so cool, but how could we possibly do that? Is having Klaus levitate. It's just like to pull that off in because of how much we're in the show and what we're doing.
He was originally written as that. He was
Really?
floating originally in the first script that I read. Yeah, way back. He was floating.
So
it
much
said
better.
he'd written in the stage direction that Klaus floats into the room. Oh right.
Could you imagine Robert just Indian style?
Just like that.
Yes, absolutely, 100% we could. I think he floats in real life, right? Yeah.
Oh, he's always floating.
Yeah, he's always floating.
He's always floating about.
I'm gonna call on you because I just want to see you ask a question in that cosplay.
Yes.
Oh,
Stand
yes.
up. Oh, terrifying.
Oh, God.
You're much shorter than I expected as well.
Yeah, that was also a
It's even
surprise.
scarier when they're smaller.
It's like it just right.
Yeah.
The neat. Oh, that's so good. That's amazing.
By the end of season 2, you'll probably getting closer to as far as the comics have gone. Was it scary that you may surpass the comics someday?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think I have so
Wasn't
much.
expecting that.
Yeah. So that was like a very
A
deep.
very intelligent, good
Methodical
question.
question.
Yeah.
I think I have so much faith in Steve and Gerard and Gabriel and Dark Horse and all the writers in the writers' room. I think they kind of know that already, and I think they've been anticipating that since season 1. that at some point, because it happened with Game of Thrones, that like at some point, because TV gets made so much faster than full novels, and the amount of time it takes to make for Gabriel to make the illustrations, and so I think they've kind of been planning that we would surpass the comics, but I also think that was part of Steve's plan anyway. I think he's kind of departing from the comic books was like always going to happen.
There always is so much. The TV show is so much broader in that sense, in certainly in the character development side. So I think there's always. I don't know if it'll ever surpass because they don't stick so rigidly to the comics. But I think they'll always be able to use. I think they'll always draw from the comics. I think they'll always use them as influence because that's what they're there for, and it's great material. So why wouldn't they? So there's always going to see that influence. I would like to think that in every season of the show, and as you go along the comics, you can see where they've brought it out of.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, so many hits. Let's take one from our Umbrella Academy cosplay group.
Oh my God, I didn't see you guys. You're amazing. What's up, Mom?
Oh man, that dress, that's my dream.
He's gonna steal it from you. Watch out.
It's so nice to see you kids again. I was wondering, and obviously I do a lot of costuming. I've read a lot of stuff about what the costumer had to say about your clothes and costuming. I'd like to hear what you had to say, because I see that there was a lot of input that the actors had.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see what your input was about. On how you influenced your costuming.
You probably have more than I did. Mine was all made when it was like. I couldn't say. Actually, I prefer that in black. Have you got that? It was like no, it's this. It's one of a kind.
I think the most amazing thing about his stuff is that it's all tailored for the suit. So it's like a flannel shirt, but it's like perfectly tailored for like every muscle on the suit. And so every day when he'd show up in a different outfit, I would just fall into a fit of laughter because it's just like, how crazy is this? Like, you're wearing a turtleneck that's perfectly fit for this ridiculous costume, and someone was like, I was like, who's making your clothes?
Also, who made that for Luther?
Just like in his bedroom, like he can.
There's no big and tall score out there for that size.
I'm not off the rack.
Perfectly fitted for every bicep and tricep. I was like, is Luther making his own clothes?
This is what I said. It should be like a scene where sort of like Allison comes in, Luther's just.
Just sewing 5 turtlenecks together.
Buttons on his shirts. Just was so, because they fit him so well. I was like, Grace for sure isn't making your clothes. Like, where are these coming from?
He's a very good tailor.
And I think for Allison, I think the biggest departure was kind of figuring out, because I and so does Alice, this version of Allison is very different from the graphic novel, and I think trying to find, I think they wanted to stay away from this spandex like super suit. So I think a lot of the like leather jackets that I wear and the boots are kind of like an ode to that sort of like superhero uniform. But I think it was really important to Steve and everyone involved, including us, that these characters are grounded in reality and pull them out of the superhero world a little bit so that you can relate to them and understand them as human beings, and then they just happen to also have superpowers and be a mess as well. Because there's a very human side to all of us, and we're all damaged and hurting and going through very real things, and I think it's to connect that, so for the audience to be able to connect that when the rumor has purple hair and is in like crazy spandex and is running around in heels all the time. I think it just wanting to be able to connect to these characters on a really human level first was really important to all of us. So I think taking the super suits out of it was kind of an attempt to kind of close that gap, I think.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're gonna go back over here. Right here.
What was your favorite scene to shoot?
I've got 3. Well, the dance with him was.
Yeah, that was
really awesome. Sure. I mean, first of all, it was 4 a.m. It was, I don't know Celsius, but it was like 19 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is.
It was cold.
It was cold.
Yeah.
You tell them. I don't know what that is.
I'm
American, and we only do Fahrenheit.
You do Celsius, do you?
Celsius, yeah.
So it'd be like what? 4 degrees.
Yeah.
If that,
It was freezing.
maybe.
I mean, it was
cold.
winter. It was
like
winter.
maybe it might be around
In the middle of
0.
the night.
It wasn't snowing and it wasn't icy, but it was cold.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
be around 0.
Yeah, and but that was amazing. It was really quick too, which I think we all thought it was going to be like a whole day thing, and I think we shot it in like what, an hour and a half.
Yeah, we did a
Is
few
that?
runs of it, and that was
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And then the next scene with Ellen was amazing. There's a lot.
Oh my
of
God.
involved.
Yeah, that scene. We like the boys, because you know how the boys all turn up at the end of that scene when the happens, for want of a better word. Well, we could all hear the scene
Oh yeah.
before it happened going on outside the cottage before we went in to shoot the next bit. And we're like, oh my God, it sounds really
poor,
dramatic. It's
Poor
like-
Ellen. She's all 5'1" of her. She's so, and she's so tiny, but
Yeah.
and because there was so much commotion and like everything is hooked up to all these hydraulics, so like the tables rattling and all the chairs and the chandeliers are swinging and there's like wind machines. And we just assumed that she would have to go in, like, after we finished shooting and go into the studio and do ADR, which is like, you do voiceover because we're mic'd, but you can't necessarily get the sound on the day if there's a plane flying over or somebody talking in the background or, whatever it is. So we just assumed the whole scene was gonna have to be ADR because there was so much noise. She didn't have to ADR a single line in that scene because she was yelling so loud,
Yeah.
which is that is insane that there was so much going on and she didn't have to go in and like dub herself at all. because-
She's a really scary little person.
She is. In the scene, I have a line, I go, "Are you okay?" And I meant it every time.
Yeah.
I was like, "Babe."
She's like Chucky or something.
Yeah,
She's
it's
like,
crazy. But and then the phone booth scene with him and I at the end
Yeah.
of episode 10 was
well, that was great as well because it was a great scene for us, but it was also the very last
Yeah.
scene that was shot on Umbrella Academy. The sun was coming up.
It was 6 a.m. and they had to
6
like
in the
tarp
morning.
the phone booth out. So we were like in a tent in a phone booth with like him and I, 3 camera guys, and it was 6 a.m. It was the last shot we shot for the whole season.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Yeah.
All right, we got time for a couple more.
Oh, you didn't do yours.
Yeah. Well, the phone booth is one, the dance is one, and I was going to say, sort of as a broad spectrum, any of the group family scenes,
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
why we're all in it, were just so much fun.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know where it was going to go, and it just felt like a family dynamic thing. It was great.
Yeah, for sure.
We've got
All-
with the red and white. Yeah,
Oh.
she's
So like, I was wondering, you were walking into something that like already had a pre-established like plot and really dynamic backstories and characters. So was it intimidating walking into it, kind of because like everything was already planned out and kind of what would fan reactions be? Would they be happy with the results, or was it kind of intimidating with finally seeing fan reactions to what they thought it would be?
Oh yeah. Well, you have a huge responsibility when you have something with a fan base. You have Source Material with a massive fan base. It is intimidating, I suppose, but it's just you just have a big responsibility to not disappoint that fan base.
You guys.
Yeah,
Truly, I
because-
mean that was for me. I was like, I am new to this comic book. I'm new to this whole world, this superhero world. I'm new to TV, period. So I think I was just so nervous about people that have loved and admired this work for so long that I didn't want to offend anybody or feel like that there was a thing that from the book that
Needed
felt
to
like
be in there
that
or
needed to
something,
be in there
yeah.
that got left out, or that we just weren't doing these characters any justice.
Yeah.
But then I think that was Steve's whole point of us not really getting too attached to the books when we started shooting, because I think he was like, they are 2 separate things, and hopefully there is a common thread, and there is an origin story for this TV show, but I think hopefully it will be respected as its own thing.
Yeah, I think what was great about the show, we had a great fan reaction, but the show created new fans that had never heard of the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest thing that could have gone wrong is if we disappointed the fans of the comic book.
Yeah.
I think I would have been really disappointed if comic book fans went, nah, it just doesn't have anything of the comic, the feeling I got when I read it, I just didn't have any of that. that would have really sucked. But the fact that we've had a great fan reaction from new fans and then also the comic book fans has been the best it could be. It's great.
Yeah. All right, we got time for 2 more, so we'll take one from over here and one from over here. Right here, all the way in the glasses. Yeah.
That was the before glasses.
Oh, there's a lot of glasses. Yeah, you.
What we thought about what the backstory is happening in Hargreaves?
Possibly. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. We learned a little bit in the first season.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's elaborated on.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, though.
Yeah. So, I'm like I can't think.
It's the most
anymore.
non-answer answer I've ever heard. All right, we are going to end on one of our Umbrella Academy cosplay people right here. Last question. This is you. Yeah, you.
First of all, I'm a huge fan of both of you.
Thank you.
I want to know, so other than the songs on the soundtrack, if you guys each had to pick a theme song for your characters, what would
Good question. It's a good one to end on.
Oh, dang.
Do you remember
I had
the?
one the other day and now it's gone.
Fly me to the moon.
Oh. A little on the nose, right?
Wow.
Okay, fine. Rumor has it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, there you go.
Do you remember the song you were doing the crap to on the dance floor in the club?
Good.
Is it Beyonce?
It would have been. Yeah, it would have been. It would have been around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it would have been Beyonce.
I want to see you do the crap to My Chemical Romance. That would be that'd be intense.
Yeah, that would be a very different version, wouldn't it?
Yeah. All right. So Fly Me to the Moon is your answer. You're gonna end on that.
I guess so.
Fly
Yeah.
Me to the Moon
Alright.
and Rumor Has It by the one and only Adele.
All right. Well, if you see those songs pop up in a future season, you know you were a part of making Umbrella Academy history.
All of it.
Tom and Emmy, give them a round of applause. Thank you